जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन भज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन भज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन भज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन भज जन रंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Gandharvika Giri Hari, Gandharvika Giri Hari, Hari, Jaya Gandharvika Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta Re, Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta Re, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta Re, Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Panchatattva, Jaya 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 Prabhupada, 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 Jaya 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 Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hari Nam Sankirtan ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnavrind ki jai. Hare Krishna. So, welcome all of you for the Bhagavad Gita study. Daily we are reading from Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So, today we will read Bhagavad Gita. We are reading chapter 3 of Karma Yoga. Today we will read 23rd shloka. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. read Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, 23rd shloka. Yadi hi aham na varteyam jatu karmani atantridrita mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvasha yadi hi aham na varteyam jatu karmani atandrita mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvasha yadi hi aham na varteyam jatu karmani atandrita mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvasha. Anybody would like to recite? You want to recite?
I want to explain also.
No, you can read and we'll repeat. Yeah.
यदि
Yadi
हम न वर्तेयाम
yadi hi aham na varteyam
यदि ही अहम न वर्तेयम
yadi hi aham na varteyam
यदि ही अहम न वर्तेयम
yadi hi aham na varteyam. Next line. Next line.
जतु कर्मण्ये
Atandrita. Jatu karmani atandrita.
जातु कर्मणि अतंद्रिता
Jatu karmani atandrita.
जातु कर्माणि अतंद्रिता
Jatu karmani atandrita. Third.
जातु कर्माणि अतंद्रिता मम वर्तमान नु वर्तन्ते
Mama vartmanu vartante.
मम वर्तमानो वर्तन्ते
Mama vartmanu vartante.
मनुष्य पार्थ सर्वशः
Manushya partha sarvasha.
मनुष्य पार्थ सर्वशः
Yadi hi aham na varteyam jatu karmani atandrita mama vartamanu vartante manushya partha sarvasha. So we'll read word to one meaning. Yadi, you can repeat after me. Yadi, if, he, certainly, aham, I, na, do not, varteyam, thus engaged, jatu, ever, karmani, in the performance of prescribed duties, atandrita, with great care, mama, my, vartma, path, anuvartane, would follow, manushya, all men, partha, O son of Pratha, sarvasha, in all respects. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. For if I ever failed to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, O Partha, certainly all men would follow my path. Purport. In order to keep the balance of social tranquility for progress in spiritual life, there are traditional family uses meant for every civilized man. Although such rules and regulations are for the conditioned soul and not Lord Krishna, because he descended to establish the principle of religion, he followed the prescribed rules. Otherwise, common men would follow in his footsteps, because he is the greatest authority. From the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is understood that Lord Krishna was performing all the religious duties at home, at our and out of home as required of a householder. Translation we can repeat.
For if I ever fail to engage in faithfully performing prescribed duties, O Partha, certainly all men would follow my path. Keep
ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं हरि ओं तत्सत् Hare Krishna. So welcome all of you for daily Srimad Bhagavad Gita class, and we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 3, and in chapter 3 is title is Karma Yoga. Okay, so we have read up to 22nd shloka of third chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So I will just have recap till 22nd shloka of third chapter Karma Yoga, and then we'll continue 23rd shloka. Today we are supposed to read 23rd shloka, third chapter. Okay. So third chapter starts with Arjuna's confusion. At the end of second chapter, when Krishna was explaining him many things about concept of body and soul, and there he also ended the chapter with the conclusion that the intelligence or the buddhi yoga is the topmost, like that. He explained, and basically he summarized full Gita in second chapter for Arjuna, and at the end it was like that he got confused. Arjuna was confused. He should renounce or he should do action. Basically he should fight or he should take renunciation. So in first two shlokas, Arjuna expressed his confusion that O Janardana, O Keshava, if you think that intelligence is better than action, then why you want me to engage in this ghastly warfare? This is what he asked. And he said, I'm confused by your equivocal instructions. So basically, Lord is giving equal importance for both Karma Yoga and Buddhi Yoga and many other yoga also he explained in the second chapter. But then that's what he understood. He got a little bit confused, and that's why. Therefore, please tell me which one is more beneficial for me. That's what Arjuna was inquiring. And then Lord is start explaining from third shloka. So till 16th shloka, Lord Krishna was explaining, and he was saying that renunciation, or basically Gyan Yoga, is difficult, right? So he was basically discouraged. and Arjuna for premature renunciation. So what is premature renunciation? Basically, one need to purify himself first, right? One needs to purify himself by doing the prescribed duties. And doing so, when he got uplifted, when he has that consciousness, or that when he understood that, yeah, this, I mean, he got purified, and when he understood that there is some higher purpose for him, and that is after, I mean, getting the into the renunciation phase, and then that then if person is, I mean, with fully knowledge, after getting the knowledge, if he is getting into the renunciation, then it is called true renunciation. Otherwise, it will be like false renunciation. So that's why in the just for setting the example, Lord Krishna is explaining that renunciation should not be, I mean, take it as like anyone, and anyone can take it like that only. So basically, this is Lord is establishing that this is little difficult, right? Renunciation. And the next point he said, the inaction is unnatural. So basically, everyone is forced to act helplessly as per their qualities. So everyone is bound with three modes of material nature, and that material nature is force him to do some action, some good action or bad action, or any like a karma also, or whatever, I mean, like, so basically he is bound to have any action. You can't stay idle. That's not our nature. Basically, our soul's nature is to be active always. So Krishna established that also, that inaction is unnatural for a soul, like for a living entity. The being active is the natural for a person. So whatever the quality he get, according to that quality he should perform his action. So, and then Krishna also explained about the one should go from karma kand to karma yoga. So there are two terms here, karma kand and karma yoga. So we should understand what is this. Karma kand basically means just performing any action or any thing which for our sense gratification, right? We are so many activities we are doing. Karma means activity, action, right? We are doing, but if that activity is only for our sense gratification, that becomes a karma kand. But on the other hand, the karma yoga, when the yoga word comes, yoga means we are connecting with the supreme, right? We are connecting ourselves. The living entity is connecting with the super soul. So when, if we have this understanding that whatever we are doing as a duty to, or just to please the Lord, right? Then it becomes the karma yoga, right? Yoga means the connection with the supreme. So whenever and whatever we are doing, if we are doing as a duty, or as a to please the Lord, so then it becomes the karma yoga, right? So that's what Lord is saying here, that one should uh, one should go from karma kand, basically sense gratification, to the sense gratification for the Lord, right? The karma will be same, but the consciousness will be different, right? That consciousness that we are doing for the Lordship, for the Supreme Lord, right? So that way, if we are doing, we will proceeding from karma yoga, karma kand to karma. And in that connection, Lord is giving in the 13th shloka that if one is not offering anything, or whatever he is doing is karma basically, or basically specifically he was quoting the food, basically whatever food we are eating, if we are not offering right, to the Vishnu or to the Yajna, and we are not doing the Yajna, we are eating only sin, right? So basically whatever we eat, whatever we do, we should offer to the Lord, and then as a prasad we should have it. Otherwise we are eating only sin. So that's very much important to understand in the 13th shloka is there. And then from 17 to 35, so from 17th shloka to 35, Lord is explaining now Nishkam Karma Yoga to set the right example. Okay, and in this connection from 17 to till 22, 23 we will read today, and 22 Krishna is explaining that even if Arjuna is qualified for renunciation, because we are talking about who has knowledge. So Arjuna has knowledge. He is qualified actually for renunciation, but he should do Nishkam Karma Yoga. Why? To set the right example for the society. That's why Krishna is emphasizing on the Nishkam Karma Yoga for the Arjuna. Right? In this connection, in 20th shloka, Lord has given the example of the the King Janaka, right? So King Janaka, what he did, he has performed his prescribed duties as a king, and on doing so, he got liberation, or he basically attained perfection, right? So. In the 21st shloka, very common, very popular and very important shloka, that yad yad acharati shrishta. So means whatever great men do, common man follows it, right? So in our society also we see, right, many people, we have role models, right? So in our material society we find someone who is doing some good thing, we also wanted to follow his path, right? So in the 22nd shloka, Krishna himself engaged in prescribed duties. That's what at the end, I mean, like he has given the example of Janak Maharaj, and then he was saying we should set the example, or the great men set the example, and common man follows it. And Krishna himself is saying that I am also engaged in the prescribed duties, right? So, but not by obligation, but for setting the example. So basically, Lord Krishna, when he is doing any activities, he is not bound to do that, but he is doing as a for setting the examples for the society. So this till this point we have read it, or we have studied in previous classes, and then today's shloka is 23rd shloka. So we have just read it, and let's understand its meaning a little deeper, and see what Krishna wants to say here. So we'll just understand word by word. Yadi hi aham na varteyam. So what does it mean? Yadi hi aham na varteyam. If I am not engaged. Okay. Jatu karmani atandrita. So atandrita means here with great attention. If I am not engaged in my karma with great attention, then what will happen? So this is what the question, what will happen? So basically, Krishna in 22nd shloka, he said that he is engaged in the prescribed duties. But and then 23rd shloka, he is putting this question that if I am not engaged, if at all I am not engaged in my prescribed duties with great attention, right, what will happen? So what will happen? Mam vartmanu vartante. Then others would have acted similarly. Manushya partha sarvasha. Then all living entities, basically all living beings, would have acted or followed my path. Right. So, which means here Lord is saying, if I will not act attentively, and then everyone will act accordingly and by their own means, right? And if that happens, then it will leads to disruption. So basically, there won't be any peace there in the society, right? So here this word atandrita is very significant. Atandrita means with very great care. Basically, the word tandrita means lazy or sleepy. So basically, tandrita means lazy or sleep. So atandrita means opposite of that. Means basically with great care, without any laziness or any leniency, basically, right? So atandrita means very great care or very great attention. So Lord is doing his duties not as a just like that. He's doing his duty, his prescribed duty, and even with great care. So that is very much important. So basically, what will happen if he failed to follow his prescribed duties? And that one, so he mentioned 4 points if he won't do his duty properly. So one thing, one point is given in this 23rd shloka, and other three are given in 24th shloka and the upcoming shloka, which we'll discuss tomorrow. But in today's, what will happen if he doesn't follow the prescribed duties? The other persons or the other all living entities will act similarly as right. So basically, here we can understand Lord is doing his activities very carefully, and we have seen from example of uh, Shri Mahaprabhu also, Gaurang Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Krishna himself. And when he was as a sannyasi, he was very, when he was doing his sannyas dharma, he was very careful in doing his proper etiquette and everything, dealing with the woman and other things. So he was very much careful, though he was Lord himself. But when it is coming to the acting or to the performing the action, he was very with great care he was doing. And even in the case of Lord Ram also we have seen, like when he was in the in Vanvas, right? So there also he was not basically many devotees of Lord Ram and who are villagers, they are calling him to stay with them. But because he was in the Vanvas, he was taking taking very much precautions, and he was staying in very simple manner in small hut, and like in the on the floor only they are sleeping like that. So many, it means even he is supreme personality of Godhead, but when it is coming to the performing the dharma or some set of activities, right, that they are taking it very with very great care, not casually, right? So and then the question comes like, why Lord has to set right example, right? So basically here we are seeing that Lord is setting the example with his activities, right? So why it is required to set examples? So we can understand with this few examples. I'll just try to explain few examples. So we have seen so many nowadays Brahmanas, right? Those who basically Brahmana means one who is, in Vedic scripture it is given that Brahmana needs to take care of Shaligram Shila, and he means he they should have Shaligram Shila, and in each and every Brahmana's house there should be Shaligram Shila. And it is not like they should only have, they should also worship it carefully and regularly. Basically daily they should worship the Shaligram Shila. But nowadays we can see so-called Brahmanas, right, caste Brahmanas, nowadays they are not following that thing. Even they are not following the Brahmanical culture. They are degraded themselves, and they are just doing some service for the other person. Basically, Brahmana is the highest form of the Varnashram dharma, which is supposed to be to give the knowledge, the Vedic knowledge to others, right? And but they have deviated from that. So why they have deviated? So somewhere their parents or their parents they have not communicated properly, or they have not set the example rightly for them, right? If parents has set the right example that yeah, we are Brahman, and our prime motto or prime dharma is to worship the Shaligram Shila, they would have imbibed that, right? That examples, or by seeing that, and they would have followed it. Either their parents or parents of parents, or right grandparents, or I mean like in their generation, somebody somewhere that got led, or they have not set the right example. So that's why this got deviated. They have gotten deviated from their original dharma from it. So this is just an example to understand that why it is important, right? To set an example. So seniors or the elder people, they have their own this responsibility to set the example. So here we can see the Lord himself he is the highest authority. So if he won't set the examples, then common men definitely will deviate, or they will basically do some sinful activities or something, right, which will degrade themselves only, or it will be destruction for the living entity. So that's why he is setting this example. And also the one example we can understand from our day-to-day life, like when we have this COVID problem, right? So when we got the vaccine, so in case of like when Prime Minister, he was promoting that everyone should get the vaccine, but when before that, first he only got the vaccine, right? So I mean, he is setting the example that I am getting the vaccine, and then he is preaching, or he is telling others to get the vaccine. So this is what I mean. We can understand from our day-to-day word only that, yeah, definitely we should set example, not only just say it, right? So basically, first achar and then prachar. So first we should take it as an acharan, right? We should take it in our behavior. Then we can tell others. And in the same connection, let's this positive example, which is like devotees of the Lord, right? Basically, the Srila Prabhupada, our Acharya and founder of ISKCON, he has set this example. He has prepared very nice full day program for all of us. That and it's not like he has only telling us to do. He was also following it from morning program to till night. I mean, everything he was engaged in the service of the Lord. So he has also set the example, and because of his determination and his setting the right example, his followers are following it. Basically, all the disciples of Prabhupada, and then disciple of disciple, and then all the devotees are following the same footstep of the Prabhupada, because he has set the example by doing his. He is with his acharan, with his behavior, he has set this right example, right? So, so this we understand that, yeah, the setting the right example is definitely very important, and that should be done with very great care, right? So, in the purport, we have seen that Prabhupada, we have read that Prabhupada has written about the Srimad Bhagavatam. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, where Lord Krishna's pastimes are explained. So in the 10th chapter, sorry, 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in 69th chapter and 70th chapter and even 71 chapter, in these three chapters, Lord's pastime, basically Lord's activities are explained very nicely. So in this connection, in the 69th chapter, Narad Muni visits Lord Krishna's palaces in Dwarka is given in this. So in this, when Narad Muni visited Lord Krishna's different palaces, it's like he was and there are we know that Lord Krishna has 16,000 wives, right? 6,108 wives, and he has made all these wives individual palaces. So there are 16,108 palaces. So Narad Muni visiting each and every palaces, and when he was visiting, he's seeing Lord is doing his activities, different activities. Some, and even in that some palaces it is morning, and he is doing some morning obligation, some morning rituals he is doing. And in other palace when he is going, he is seeing there is afternoon, and in other it's evening. So basically different activities with different times he has seen. And in that uh, connection, we'll just read little bit from directly from Bhagavatam. Yeah, so from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:69, 14 verse and 15th verse, we can see the Supreme Lord is greatest upholder of religious principle. Thus, when he noticed Narada, he rose at once from goddess Shri bed, bowed his crowned head at Narada's feet, and joining his palm head, the sage sit in his own seat. I mean, he basically saw the Narad Muni, and he just got up. It's not like he is Supreme Personality of Godhead, but still, when saintly person is coming, Narad Muni is saintly person, the sadhu, right? And Lord, being a Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he is playing the role of householder. So he is setting example here with his acharan, with his behavior, that when we are seeing, whenever we are inviting or if some saintly person is coming to our home, we should just, whatever we are doing, we should just leave it and we should attend him, right? As soon as we see him, and we should bow down, we should uh, give them nice place to sit, right? And then in the 15th shloka, the Lord bathed Narad's feet and then put the water on his own head. Although Lord Krishna is the supreme spiritual authority of the universe and the master of his devotees, it was proper for him to behave in this way. For his name is Brahmana Deva, the Lord who favors the Brahmanas. Thus, Sri Krishna honored the sage Narada by bathing his feet, even though the water that bathes the Lord's own feet becomes the Ganges, the ultimate holy Shri. So here we can see, even not only he just got it, but he also bathed the Narada's feet, right? So, and uh, and his that water which got bathed, he is pouring his on his head also. So basically, he's taking the blessings of the sadhus or the saintly person. So this is how the senior or the authorities are setting the examples. Lord Krishna is the supreme authority, and he is setting the example, right? And in then the same chapter, 20 and 22nd shloka, we'll just read. And there he saw the Lord playing at dice with his beloved consort and his friend Uddhava. Lord Krishna worshipped Narada by standing up, offering him a seat, and so on. And then, as if he did not know, asked him, "When did you arrive?" So basically, this is like this. He was entering into the different palaces, right? So in the previous palace, he already offered his obeisances and bathed his feet, everything. But in the next shloka, we can see that when Narad Muni is entering to the different palace of with a different queen, he is behaving like as if he didn't meet Narad Muni before. Just now he met, or basically that's what Lord has expanded himself in different forms, right? And he was present simultaneously in each and every palaces. So this is how we can understand. He is astonishing also the Narad Muni with this kind of behavior, and at the same time he is setting the example for the common man to follow what the right behavior, what the right act, right? When they are seeing the this saintly person. And in this 23rd, this time Narad Muni saw that Lord Krishna was engaged as an affectionate father, petting his small children. From there he entered another palace and saw Lord Krishna preparing to take his bath. So basically different activities, what I was saying, right? It is given in the Srimad Bhagavatam directly in the shloka. I have just taken the meaning, the translation as it is. So these translation is showing us that Lord is actively engaged in his the daily activities, and with that daily activities he is setting the right example for the common man, and at the same time he is astonishing also us that and also we should understand that we can't imbibe we can't imitate what he is saying, basically what he is doing, but we should understand the principle, what he wants to teach us. That principle is then when he is not teaching that we should also have many wives or many palaces, or so we can't expand ourselves, right? So he's setting example as a principle, what principle we should follow, but at the same time he is not we should not imitate whatever he has done as such as it is, right? But we should understand the principle. So this way in the even in the 70th chapter we'll just read. Each day the Lord worshipped the rising sun and propitiated the demigods, sages and forefathers, who are all his expansions. The self-possessed Lord would then carefully worship his elders and the Brahmanas. To those well-attired Brahmanas, he would offer herds of tame and peaceful cows with gold-plated horns and pearl necklaces. These cows were also dressed in fine clothes, and the fronts of their hoofs were plated with silver. Providers of abundant milk, they had each given birth only once and were accompanied by their calves. Daily, the Lord gave many groups of 13,084 cows to the learned Brahmanas, together with linen, deer skins, and sesame seeds. So, very opulently, he is giving the charity, right? He is the Supreme Lord, he can do. But that's, again, the example or the principle what he is setting is here that from the morning only he is getting up very early in the Brahma Muhurta. So he is setting an example for us, for common men to follow, that yeah, we should also we should get up in the morning, and then as soon as we get up in the morning, we should purify ourselves by cleaning ourselves, and then we should get it into the religious activities. Basically, we should do like in the Lord's case, it is given he was doing Gayatri, and then he is accepting or attending the Brahmanas, and then he is giving them charities, right? So here in this direction, in this purport, in this translation, Prabhupada is mentioning, it is mentioned that he is giving the charity, the cows and the cows to the Brahmanas, and cows are well decorated, right? So basically, our Acharyas, Rup Goswami is also explaining how we should utilize our wealth. The 50% should go into the charity. Whatever we are earning, the 50% of that should be going into charity. We should give or donate it, and then 25% we can give for the relatives, and 25% we can keep for the emergency. So this is very high level they have said, but the principle is we should understand that yeah, we should, whatever we are earning, we should give as a sacrifice or for the pleasure of the Lordship. Basically, we should donate in the form of charity in the temples or to the devotees of the Lord, right? Where we can purify that money also, and with that, once it got purified, that is become like, basically it becomes a karma yoga, what we were just understanding, right? So whatever we have done the karma, that becomes a karma yoga. Once we have obtained the result of that with that karma yoga, basically our pay, right, our pay scale, whatever we are getting, if we wanted to purify that, we have to just give in the charity, and even a small quantity if we are giving it to charity, we understand that that becomes as a prasad of a Lord, and it becomes a sanctified, and when we that money what we are earning, if we are engaging in other activities, that is like the purified one, right? So that way we can understand that yeah, definitely Lord is setting example, and the principles remain same, that we should also try to understand that these activities are important. As a principle, we should follow it, and we should not imitate these things as Krishna has done. We should try to understand the principle behind that. Basically, if many people are saying that, right? Lord is having so many wives, I can have two or three, right? Lord has lifted the Govardhan hill. Why you are not able to lift it, right? So that's how we should understand that also. That Lord is coming to set example for common people as a principle, but his activities are very very pure and very very on the spiritual platform. So basically, we can understand with this that Lord is the performing action in the Dwarka or the Hastinapur and the Mathura. Basically, those are to set the right dharma. Okay, but he is doing this the pastime in the Vrindavan, which is not to imitate, but to understand that there he is setting the example of the pure love. So basically, Vrindavan is the Madhurya Dham, and Dwarka, Hastinapur are the Aishwarya Dham, right? There he is showing his Aishwarya. There that is the arena of dharma. So he's setting the dharma in generally in the Dwarka and Hastinapur, but in the Vrindavan he's setting the pure love. So he's also setting example to understand what is the pure love and how we can also get it into that. How we can also love Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? And basically how we can become the most intimate servant of the Lord, right? So that's how in the Vrindavan, like gopis and gopas and so many his associates are very much intimate, has a very much intimate relationship with the Krishna. Right? So that intimate relationship is the symbol of love, the pure love basically. So there he is setting example of the pure love in the Vrindavan, which we should understand. And in the Dwarka and the Hastinapur, he is setting the example with uh, the dharma. He is establishing dharma. So in the purport we have read that, right? Um, yeah, Lord Krishna, he descends to establish the principle of religion, right? So principle of religion basically in the fourth chapter it will come yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata, right? Abhyastana satanasa. And after that he comes for the establishing the dharma, right? Uh, so um, so basically Lord is establishing dharma, the religious principle, right? With this Dwarka and Hastinapur pastime, where he is explaining, he's doing his duties, performing his duty nicely, and he's explaining us how we should behave with the saintly person and other things. Basically, many principles he is setting. And in the connection, same when Mahaprabhu has come, right? Gaurang Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Krishna, and he also established with his behavior what is the best way to worship the Lord, like chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, right? And he was also doing the same thing. He is also doing the Sankirtan, right? He was with his associates. He was going in the villages and everywhere, and he's delivering the people by the Sankirtan movement, by the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, right? And with that, he was also establishing, and he is also setting the example for common man, for us to follow, that this is the simplest process of a spiritual life, or to get it into the devotion path, right? The Krishna Bhakti. Basically, Krishna himself comes to give the Krishna Bhakti, and when he came, he also followed what we should follow, right? What is our right path, or very nice or very simple path for us to follow. So Krishna himself comes to give the bhakti, and he is, by his example, he is teaching us how we can understand and how we can also follow, or we can also get it into the bhakti path or the devotional service path, right? So it's not it's simple, but we should understand that we are getting it from parampara, right? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has established this dharma of Sankirtan movement, which is Kali Yuga dharma, right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the simplest method, and we should try to follow it by loudly chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So thank you so much. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Hare Krishna. Any question or comment? Yes, sir. Yes. Sir. You want to see? Okay. And this one? Yeah. Mhm.
In the daily, Lord giving many fruits of cows and other to brahmanas, and like living days. So you can see that they maintain deer skins. So
Yeah.
the living animal is actually.
Yeah. So yeah, so this basically deer skin. It's not like when we are killing deer and then getting its skin and he's donating it. But the deers who got died and their skin is given into the charity. It's not like by killing it is giving. It is like when they got died, their skin they have loosed it and then that skins they are using.
So what we can understand from the our if any animal dies, we can
No, that's what I mean. The principle here remains like the charity. It's not like same charity or same thing we should give, but whatever is possible or whatever. Even deer skin is very big. I mean, like in today's world, it's very costly thing. It's not, and even if you can't get it just like that, even by killing also, it's very difficult. You can't. Definitely, it's there that is not appropriate. But I'm saying, I mean, like the principle we should understand. That's why I was saying here that Lord is setting the principle of giving the giving the charity to the brahmanas, right? And that charity can be different at different time. With time, place, and circumstances, things got changed, right? So we should understand that we should give some charity, not the same thing. That's what, and we should not imitate whatever Krishna has done in this in his pastimes, right, which is given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. But we should understand that he is setting the example, right example for the common man to give the charity. Right?
because some people are using the animal skin for
Mhm.
making some toys.
Mhm.
So that's why I asked.
So, what's your question? They're using
Here
means.
also God is giving the deer skin to
Ah,
Brahmanas
yeah.
and
Okay, why he is giving? Okay. I think basically,
for meditation.
yeah, for setting place that is big because that is soft and they are using it for as a asana or something, right? And the brahmanas, so that's how. That's why.
Any particular reason that animals
Meditation.
meditation?
I don't know the reason actually. Yeah, why they are using the animal skin. Okay. Anything else?
Here in
Yes.
this discussion of chapter, initially Krishna saying to Arjuna that you have to do karma yoga, karma kand.
Not karma kand. Karma kand to karma yoga.
Karma kand to karma yoga.
Yeah.
But when Arjuna is not able to decide to fight with the family members or not, so Krishna told like whatever the way you are doing, if you are not going to fight, it will be bad for you because you are not done the dharma. As per dharma, you have to fight. And if you are doing the fighting, at the end of the result, if the Kauravas are getting, all are getting died, so till that time also we will get the place where everyone is waiting after the birth of after the human body cycle. It will go to the what is called it is param
Param dham.
param, like that cycle will not repeat
Spiritual,
again and again.
spiritual world. So,
And if suddenly that happens, then that time only he is saying the establishing the point like this is karma kanda, like both sides. The result of this karma he is explaining to him. Like if you are doing this or if you are doing that, at the end result will be that. So here he is focusing more on the result point of view. But another point he is saying that akarmana. Means you need to do the karma but without thinking much about the result. Like different way he is establishing this point in different. So that is like is it the same like mostly focus on the work when you start, you have to focus on the result, or without focusing result, how you start the work and what will you do?
okay. So for our self, yes, I mean, from our perspective,
Yeah.
what we should do. That's what you're saying. Okay, as a perspective of karma, yeah. So Yeah, so in case of like Krishna, when he's explaining to Arjun, so yeah, he is giving the step by step all the direction to Arjuna, and he is explaining basically. He's also inquisitive. Arjuna is also inquisitive, and he is also asking many questions. So as per his question, Lord is giving the answers. And then he's establishing the parodharma also. What is the actual dharma in the Bhagavad Gita when we are reading, right? Sarv dharman parityaja maam ekam sharanam vraja. That also he's explaining. So that is the ultimate thing. But as this karma yoga, what you are saying, if you wanted to understand that, yeah, so Lord is explaining that only that, yeah, we should understand. Even here we have seen that in this the section what we are reading from 17 to 35, we are reading where Lord is explaining the Nishkam Karma Yoga to set the right example. So before that also he explained about the Karma Kand and Karma Yoga and even Buddhi Yoga and other yoga system. But that is not to set the right example. Right example is he is setting from here, like the Nishkam Karma Yoga. So basically Nishkam Karma Yoga itself is very self-explanatory, right? That we should not think about the result. Right? It is not driven by the result. We should perform our duty, but we should not think about the result. And then, when we are performing our duty with our sincerity, with dedication, definitely the result will come. But that again, as a yajna or as a sacrifice, we should offer it to Lord, and then we should accept that result, right? So that way it becomes the I mean, yeah, for us we can understand that what Krishna wants to say and what is the highest thing, right? In terms of karma.
Getting something different, because whenever someone is getting into trouble, into problem, they come to God and asking for this solution, not for the faith. Like
that is like trading, right, with the Lord. So that is not the actual bhakti. It's like just give and take relationship. But if you wanted to have the intimate relation with the Lord, then we should understand that, yeah, we should do the nishkam karma, and that also should be driven by the devotion and bhakti, and we should offer it to Lord, and then we should accept it. Okay. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Okay, so we'll end here. श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. हरे कृष्ण.